Hello world, welcome to the school. Today, we're going to talk about juggling. Not entirely, but you'll see. It was some time ago during the pandemic that I wanted to pick up a new skill, and I chose juggling, thinking it could help me with concentration and focusing on multiple things simultaneously, as there would be so many things to be aware of when you're performing the act of juggling. Like the starting position of your hands, the angle at which you throw the items, the force you apply on them to get them into the air, the positioning of pumps receiving the falling items. But as I started practicing, I realized that I'm not really concentrating on all of those variables and then making decisions based on how they change. Instead, the key to get better at it was to try and throw the items from the same position and with a near equal force so that I don't need to think too much about the receiving palm's position. You keep the force the same, keep the angle the same, the item is going to land in the same space. Of course, there will be other factors in the environment that you can't control, but at least you're minimizing the amount of change by constraining the stuff you can control. The key was to keep some things constant like the position and the force, and not really trying to make your brain track multiple changes happening and make decisions based on them. Variables, changes, too many things to keep track of reminded me of how I felt when trying to understand a piece of code with too many of them. A piece of code where there are a lot of variables whose values can change, too many branches whose decision is based on those variables, where I have to juggle between a lot of states the program can be in. It's very taxing. When you write code in a way where you keep things constant as much as possible, where you guarantee that a few things won't change, it is like juggling done right, where you've learned how to throw the items with almost the same initial velocity and position, so you can stop thinking about where you need to put your hands to receive the falling items. Given the same initial conditions, it will be trivial to predict the outcome. I heard a bell from pure functions. That's how they work. Given the same input, they give you the same output. And another bell from immutability. The idea that you don't change things. From the fact that I was getting better at juggling by fixing or not changing the force, the angle, and other things. What I'm trying to say is that the ideas that result in a good juggling performance are pretty much the same that result in readable, reasonable code. The premise of my initial motive, though, to learn juggling was flawed, as it's well known that our brains really aren't good at multitasking. But I think it does help with focus and concentration, just not in a way that I had initially thought. I got better at controlling the pace and the angle at which I launched the items into the air, by keeping them the same. In the same way, we can produce good code by taking the ideas from functional programming like pure functions, immutability. I will talk about these and other ideas of functional programming in future videos, but this was how I ended up relating juggling and functional programming. Thanks for listening.